Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Winter's Wish, continuing Kuga's route. And it's been a couple days because it was over the weekend and I didn't play on Friday. I recorded our other game, so it's been a few days. We were in the little thingamajigger with the things and the people and the doing the stuff. Yeah, we were doing stuff with the thing and the words, right? We were in the whatever it's called, and they were all carting us around, and that's how we were going to go find our sassy lost child who's being a bit of a dick around here. Also, I'm like actually ahead, which is nice because for the next couple days I'm not going to be able to record after today, so so I'm going to get behind. Again, well, not really further behind, but like Hakuoki's sweet school life is being localized, guys. I don't think I said it in this. I think I said it in our other game, which is, I think we're roughly around the same time. And I'm like, I know we had a ton of stuff, but like, I feel like we like, there's no, like, we had like a ton of games that they notify 2025, here's a whole list. And it was like, whoa, but like, it's just been dead and there's nothing. I need you to keep it coming. You stopped. You gave us, here's this, and then nothing? Yeah, I mean, I know the games are releasing that you told us about, but we want more announcements and more game. You need to just keep it coming. I just need you to keep spitting these things out. Like, keep going. And then, lo and behold, 3 days later, here you go. So excited. One of you guys is going to tell me in the comments of a video or something, because it was just announced, like, today. So you will say, and then you'll see this like 2 weeks from now, and I'll be like, but I told you in the future! But like, I can't believe I'm actually ahead right now. I think I'm like 2 weeks ahead. I'm like, like 2 weeks ahead! I haven't done that since before Christmas! It's not going to last very long though, so we got to enjoy it while it lasts. When we get to the point where we're like 4 to 5 weeks ahead, we might be able to go back to every day, but I also don't want to go back to like every day and then go every other day and then go every day and then go every. I don't want to keep like jerking you around like that. You know what I mean? Like, do you care? That's a good question. Let me know if you care. For those of you that are watching this as it goes up, not bulk watching it like a year from now. You know what I mean? Like, for those of you who are watching it like as it kind of posts, like, do you care if you get whiplash? Like, if there's inconsistencies where, like, for a couple of months, it's up for every day, and then there's going to be a brief period, and then it's, like, every other day, and then it's every day again. Like, does that bother you? Are you like, no, God damn it, just keep it consistent? You know what I mean? I want to know. Because if you're like, no, load it up when you can, and then if you go every other day, that's cool. Because unless I am in the hospital dying and cannot physically record, I am not going to be like, it's going to be here like once a week or something. It will be every other day. Okay? At the minimum. Unless my, like I said, unless my body parts are falling apart and falling out. I mean, my body parts are falling apart because I'm old, but whatever. Anyway, we were on the thing searching for our sassy lost child. Let's get into it. And this is all kinds of wrong. Why are they making me one of the bearers? I wasn't even there. Still going on about that, Yuichi. Now that we're doing it, I actually think it's pretty fun. See? Don't look so sour. Try acting more like a litter bearer. Hup, 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 hup. Having to be paired with Otaro, it just does not seem like something they should have done to poor Yuichi, but it's fun. And did anyone else just hear a scream come from inside? Oh? Otaro, don't horse around too much. What? I wasn't trying to, but fine, since you said so. Anyway, although I'm really not happy about this, how do we end up with such a nice palanquin? Something a little shabbier with a shroud over it would have been just fine. And then we wouldn't have needed 4 people to carry it. He's thinking like a shabbier one would have meant I don't have to be here. Literally, I get this. I will work my ass off when I have to, but there are times where I'm like, do I really have to? Because, like, this is the time where I'm going to be like, no, hard pass. Yeah, well, a nicer one like this will make everyone leave us alone. Also, we're right about that. We're right about to head into Castletown. Hold out for just a little longer. Oh, he's right. Maybe we should try acting more like litter bearers since there'll be more people around. I'm not joking, I'm being dead serious. Oh, Taro's probably right. Okay, then. Serious face. Hup, 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 hup. Are they supposed to be saying that? Is that like... We're just staring at Kuga like, I don't forget. I remember at the end of the last one. Again, it's been a few days, but I still remember. Well, that's also because I had to edit all the parts over the weekend, so that's also why I remember the. He's so fit close. He almost kissed me. Damn it, we were so close. They can't do an accidental kiss in all of them, you know. They're all trying so hard. It's been a lot less bumpy too. They have, and they improved quickly. Awkward! I've gotta pull myself together. The plan's for me to keep an eye on the trail and guide everyone else there. As for Hanzo's hideout, Tominari remembered where it was since he'd follow the trail with me. Tominari could have shown them the way if all we were doing was heading over there. However, Hanzo might take action while we're on our way over. There's no guarantee he isn't already on the move. I couldn't overlook a single change in the tracks leading to his hideout. Kuga, sorry, but do you mind letting me look out the window for a moment? Oh, sure thing. There's like windows on either side. He nodded, then put his arms around my waist and held me tight like it was nothing to him. Oh! We're all gonna fawn. Okay. A moment to fawn. Okay. Oh, well, we get a couple more minutes because they're both awkwardly quiet. Me, literally. Contrary to our predictions, Miyaji and Yoichi came running, but Hanzo never attacked. When the ride was bumpier, I hit my head on the wall and nearly broke my neck every time I tried to peek out the window. The Kuga felt bad and tried to hold me steady. I have to focus. Now wasn't the time to be thinking about how embarrassing, nerve-wracking, awkward, or bewildering this was, or how much I want to, shove him down and make out with him. Or other things. I leaned toward the tiny window, squinting as I tried to confirm which direction Hanzo's tracks led in. Okie dokie. Nothing unusual for now. Everything's fine. Thank you. Yep. When I leaned away from the window and returned to my position on his lap, Kuga removed his arms from around my waist. That's true, we're sitting in his lap, so I forgot that part, though. I'm actually closer to Kuga when I'm not looking out the window. Looking out the window was a lot to handle, but so was literally every other moment inside the litter. Huh? Things had been going so well, but then we came to a sudden halt. Thinking it odd, I looked out the window again. Peeking through the blinds. Me, when I think somebody's walking around soliciting and I close my blinds and then I'm peering out the blinds like a crazy lady. What's going on out there? Are they coming to harass me? What's going on? What are they doing? And then I'm like the neighborhood spy. I just don't like when people knock on my damn door. Apologies, but there's a reason our master can't step out. Could you let this slide? You heard the man. You really think someone of high enough social standing to be transported in a palanquin this impressive would be a form folk? I'll find out once we check. Rules are rules. If you have nothing to hide, we'd greatly appreciate your cooperation in putting Ito's citizens at ease. Oh, man. This isn't good, Kuga. We've been stopped by a constable. What? I thought Kyoshiro went around talking to the security officials about waving us through. Maybe he didn't have enough time to talk to everyone. This guy looks pretty serious, too. Nope, this feels like an ambush, then. Because, okay, I was with you, a constable stops you because they're... Okay, cool. But then it's like Kyoshiro went around to tell them. Alright, then this sounds sus as fuck. Oh, please don't. Our master will yell at us. He really will. If you do, all of us here will have hell to pay. You're cool with that? Alright, I'll just do a quick check on the inside and won't ask who he is or where he's from. The door to the litter started to rattle as they talked. It seemed like all the litter bearers were trying to stop him from forcing his way inside to look. Not good.
and they won't be able to block him for much longer, and we'll just look even more suspicious.
You're right. If what I'd heard outside was to be believed and he was just going to take a quick peek, he might miss Kuga entirely. We'll be in a world of hurt if he does catch a glimpse of him, though. Throw a blanket over him. The constable seemed to be a citizen of Castletown himself. It was extremely likely that he knew Kuga.
That's true. I also forgot about that, like, we're trying to hide Kuga because Kuga is also, like, persona non grata around here, and people, like, hate him.
Our elaborate scheme might all be for nothing because of a tiny snag. We definitely can't have this. I gotta do something. I wasn't about to hesitate. After coming all this way, I had only one option. Throw yourself on top and make out and be like, oh, there's people making out in there. Hide your face. I'll get out. Hiding his face is a good one, but us getting out is also good. They're both good. I'm not really sure. Although, us getting out stops him from, like, even seeing Kuga or any being suspicious at all. Hiding his face. Are they gonna respect, like, you know what I mean? Like, there could be something where they're like, oh, he's got his face hidden, it must be like in mourning or something. You know what I mean? Like, back in ye olde times, they had mourning veils and stuff like that, and you wore black for like months and shit like that. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe it'll be like, oh, okay. But like modern times, it'd be like, what the fuck's that on your face? Take it off! And then they'd beat you. So, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if these guys would, but I'm just saying modern cops. Especially if you're not white. You know? Like, come on. I don't know. Okay, so we get out. All right. I was like, I don't know, the hide your face thing could be bad. Yeah. Makes sense. Kuga, I'll get out. Kuga's expression changed when I said this, having already made up my mind.
What are you saying?
It'll result in the least amount of damage here. Letters are only meant to carry one person. If I get out, he won't check inside.
But he might know you. How could you possibly explain why a servant girl was riding in a pallet?
Do you mind waiting a bit longer? The door appears to be stuck and won't open.
What are you doing? It's fine. Let me try.
I'm running out of time here. I still hadn't come up with a plan to trick him if he knew who I was. But there was no time left. His hand was on the door, ready to open it from the outside any second now.
Spacey, wait.
Kuga pulled the arm I was reaching for the door with, making me stumble. What? Just like what he did earlier during our bumpy ride. I managed to place my hand against the wall, keeping myself from crashing into Kuga. He's so close. Which was no different from before, to be honest. Kuga's face had been above mine whenever I looked up, but now it was below me. What are you doing, Kuga?
We're in danger. If he finds you suspicious and makes you get out of the litter, who will watch for Hanzo's tracks?
But it'd be even worse if you got out. Don't worry. Let go of me, please. I've got to hurt.
Hey, don't be so rough. You break it, you buy it. You're gonna quite the mouth on you. Anywho, I bet this'll do it.
The door's opening. Just having me step out of the litter wasn't an option anymore. What could I possibly do to make the situation go as smoothly as possible? Shove him down and make out with him. He's going to be like, there's two people in there. And you're like, I told you our master would get pissed. He's making out with his, mistress. Because the master needs time alone with his mistress.
And then the cop will be like, oh, whoops, okay, never mind.
Nothing makes people more awkward than public displays of affection. I'm just saying. Ah! I was going to get out because I couldn't think of anything else.
Pardon, we've had a few incidents, so we've been inspecting the inside of every litter. Whoa!
I can hear the surprise in the officer's voice. I love this CG. Look at his face is so cute. He's like, I am in her boobs. I'm like, this is exactly what I was thinking. You look like you're canoodling, and he's like, oh, okay, never mind. And then they can make it. He's like, so you didn't tell me your master was in there with a woman, and they're like, well, I mean, it's his mistress, and like, you know, because I mean, like, that was obviously not very secret in these times. But like, your wife probably knew you had a mistress, but you weren't like, yeah, oh, hey, honey, me and the girlfriend are gonna go bang. You know what I mean? Like, you
Your wife knew. She was like, I know he's got 4 mistresses. I'm not stupid. I know what he does in the red light district, but like, you didn't say shit. You know what I mean? So like, this wouldn't be like out of place, but it would still be awkward for somebody to like pop their head in and be like, okie dokie. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine how awkward it is for cops seeing a car parked on the side of the road and going knock, like checking if anybody's in there and there's people doing it in the back seat? You know, they're gonna be like, please fucking put your pants on, dear God. But it's gotta be embarrassing for them. You know what I mean? They're gonna be like, ah, dear God, again? You know? Probably. This might be the first time the cop's seen it, but maybe not. Anyway, I could hear the surprise in the officer's voice, which made sense given there were 2 people crammed into a litter meant for one. What now? What's he gonna ask? How do I respond? Or am I completely blocking his view of Kuga's face? We didn't have any cloth or masks to cover his face with, and there was no room to hide him. I was left with no choice other than to shove Kuga's face into my chest. I love the fact that he is like, a little shocked face. I love it. It's so cute. Thank you for your cooperation. What? And here I thought he was about to conduct a very intense investigation. No, he feels awkward because he thinks you're getting your freak on. The constable closed the door in a huge hurry without asking us a single question. So, are we in the clear? I believe so. Boobs get you out of everything. I'm just saying. Boobs saved the day here. Hey, you should have just told me he was on a date.
What? What date?
Sorry, man. We were too embarrassed to say it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say what they're doing in there out loud.
I love Tominari's like, eh? Jojo's like, oh, awkward. Yeah, uh-huh. Yuichi's like, I mean, did you want me to tell you they were fucking like rabbits in there? Good God. You should hear the sounds coming out of there. Leave it to Yuichi to make it weirder. What? Before I knew it, they were running with the idea that we'd been doing something unspeakable. Oh, you should speak about it. The 2 of you and Kuga, should speak about it often. What's Yuichi saying? Is he trying to cover for us? Spacey, mind letting go of me? We still have his face in our boobs, and you're like, no, this is really comfortable and I like this. Huh? Even though I didn't need to, I was still pressing Kuga's face into my chest. Look, just because I like it. I'm so sorry. There was no other way to hide you. I know. You don't seem like the kind of human who enjoys that sort of thing. You don't know me. And I just shoved your face into my chest, and now I'm like, it's kind of cozy here. Yeah, I'm definitely not. Am I? I was totally enjoying it. Come to think of it, I actually was doing something unspeakable to Kuga. Now that I was thinking back on it, I felt incredibly embarrassed. Up. Oh. As we talked, the stopped litter began pushing forward again. It seemed like he really was gonna let us go after that. We managed, thanks to you. Oh, not at all! Thank you for stopping me, too. And now that I've thought it through, it definitely would have been dangerous to get out. Right. Is it just me, or... It felt like it was getting more and more awkward inside the litter by the second. Well, yes, because, no, it was already crammed in there and slightly awkward, and then you shoved his face in your chest, so you were definitely like, oh dear God, that was, I mean, it was spur of the moment, and this is definitely very awkward, and I'm sure Kuga is like, definitely did not expect my face in someone's boobs. Of course, I was the only one who could feel it in the air. Anyway, you were surprisingly... What? Never mind. What were you gonna say? Wait. You know what's really annoying? Hold on. I am sorry. I sat here when it first came on, when I first started recording and I was listening, and I was like, music is good. The music is good. Everything is great. And then I just noticed in the background as I was listening, I was like, it's fucking crunchy. That really annoys me. I do check, guys. There are times where I can't tell because there's no sound for like the scene that we're on, but there was. And I fucking listened for like, I was sitting here and I'm like, nope, okay, the music sounds great. And now it's fucking crunchy after like 20 minutes? You gotta be fucking kidding me. That really annoys me. So, sorry. Anyway, not that you guys can probably hear it, but like if I turn it up louder, then it's going to be too loud. But if I leave it where it is, then it's too quiet. Like there's never a good balance. So, Bird, I'm going to need you to stop being a fidget. You're very bitey and you're very grumpy. You know, you were doing good today. You were being a good boy. You were being very, very smart. Uh-huh. You were. You were being very, very smart today and being such a good boy, except for pooping on my couch. That was jerk move. But when we were coming up to record, I was like, you gotta go potty, and you flew to your cage and you went potty. You know exactly. You know the words. You know exactly. I just paused. I didn't even shoo you off my shoulder. I just paused at the bottom of the stairs and said, do you need to go potties? And you went to your cage and went potties. Because you understand what this means. You do. He's demanding scritches and petties right now. But like, you know, but now you're being bitey and fidgety. Is it because is it because it's rainy out? You're a grouchy boy? Or a girl? Who knows? We don't know what you are. We call you a boy. If you're a girl bird, no, you're not. You're a boy bird. Anyway. Anyway. Now I was extremely curious what Cougar had been trying to say. Whether out of fear or embarrassment, I didn't ask him about it at all in the end. I can't wait till we find out what it's about. That's everyone then. And did you run into any issues on the way over? Yes. Why weren't you telling people? Also, I'll forgive you because I love you so much. My super robot. Oh, look at Gogo's little sad face. He is like, she shoved me in her boobies and I don't know how to handle it. From one robot to another. Perhaps it's just me, but doesn't it seem like something happened between the two of them? You shut up, beautiful. Why is he so fucking pretty? Gloriously long hair. Jesus. Beautiful fucking kimono. Looks hot in a dress, dressed up like a woman. Listen, I have a type, okay? Also, glasses robots, also the type, but beautiful bastards who look good in drag? Absolutely. In reality as well. I want a man who looks better in a dress than I do. Nothing worth mentioning. Spacey just put herself on the line to protect me. For sure, Kenji. It was amazing. She immediately did something that shocked the constable into running away. Didn't know you had it in you, Spacey. I didn't either. I'll just let him say whatever he wants. Saying it wasn't true and having to tell them what I actually did would have been too embarrassing. Anyway, glad we all made it here in one piece. Spacey, you were watching from inside the litter and didn't see any changes in Hanzo's trail, right? Yeah, I didn't see any new tracks going in or out just now either, so he must still be inside. Kiyoshiro and I actually did a brief search of the house while waiting for you to arrive. And we did, and there were too many people living in the house for a place that was being house sat. Does that mean they must be the kidnapped form folk? There were just as many people there as there were missing persons reports filed with the magistrate. With so many people inside, fighting him without harming anyone will be a tall order. But they're victims too. If possible, I'd like to avoid killing anyone besides Hanzo. Alright, I hate to trouble you all, but I'd like you to focus on suppressing the form folk while I bring Hanzo down. Genjiro, Mitsuhige told me the reason you failed to take Hanzo down last time. Since I'll be present this time, I will not allow you to make the same mistake twice, no matter what you say. Understood? No objections, sir. Very well. If it's a close fight, we'll immediately cut down any form folk running interference and join you in attacking Hanzo. Kyosho then turned and faced everyone aside from Kuga and gave additional orders. See, this is the benefit of being a robot. You're like, I'll kill anyone that gets in my way. And you're like, I guess you have to be a robot in situations like this. It wasn't just Kinji who appeared to have been thinking the same thing Kyoshiro had from the start. Everyone nodded in agreement without any hesitation whatsoever. Like, Kinji and Yoichi both have a very, like, kind of frowny little serious face, and the Tojo's over there like, yeah, I'll kill some form folk, whatever. You know what, Tojo? That's not the right face for this scenario. I didn't detect a single trace of confusion or worry on their faces. Tomonari has a slight smirk like, I enjoy killing people. And I kind of expect that from him slightly. I really do. Okay, also with the Xavier from Love and Deep Space vibes that he's given off as well. What? I mean, not just because of the voice acting, but you know what I mean? Just, you know what? You're like, yeah, no. And then Otaro's over there like, okay. Like, he seems like he might, I don't know him well enough, but like, he might also enjoy killing people. I don't know. But if push comes to shove, I'll need to jump into action with them too. It was my bare minimum duty as someone tasked with protecting Ito. Oh, a split second before I set foot inside from the back door, I suddenly found myself glancing sideways at Kuga. The look on his face seems a bit different from everyone else. Did Kuga feel bewildered and worried right now, just like me? Even if he did, he seemed like someone who'd never given to his worries. He probably is feeling a little bewildered and worried, and he's kind of bewildered on why he's feeling that way, because he shouldn't be feeling anything. There weren't really any guards at the mansion, allowing us to easily make our way inside. Maybe Hanzo rounded up all the form folk and is doing something right now. True. Or they know. They saw Kyoshiro and Kinji out there. There were signs of people, like Yoichi mentioned. Audible voices came from the biggest room, but the rest of the rooms were all deathly quiet. Is it a trap? Feels like one. Who can say? Why don't we have a look-see? Tonight, my dearest wish will be realized. I'm so grateful to everyone who sacrificed themselves for me. Hanzo! 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 Beep! Visible from the tiny crack in the sliding door were so many form folk that there was hardly any space for them to sit, even though the room was so large. Sitting on a platform in the dead center of the room was Hanzo, making himself right at home like he was a lord. He was covered from head to toe in a huge number of black threads, which were dripping onto the tatami mat. Gross. I guess he's planning to invade Kuga's house tonight. But my stuff is there. And that must be why he didn't come yesterday. Meaning now's the best chance to strike, yeah? Right. Go, Genjiro. Yes, sir. He agreed, then silently took off down the hallway instead of toward the room Hanzo was in. Wait, Kuga? What was he up to? Before I had the chance to see what everyone else thought about this. Oh! Kinji kicked down the door in front of us, bringing the room I'd only been able to see a sliver of before into full view. I like that they let the pretty one kick down the door. Huh? Who the hell are you? Sorry to barge in while you were having a good time. Mind if we join you for a sec? You're awfully polite today, Otaro. Although I don't intend to make do with just a sec. What the? Kinji grabbed the nearest form folk by the collar as he spoke. He took aim at the others, who were clearly flustered, and threw the form folk as hard as he could. He's so, like, you know they're all strong and able to kick ass. Obviously, they would be pointless at fighting the Blightfall if they weren't strong and tough, but it's just, he's so goddamn beautiful, and we've never seen him fight, so it's just funny he just picks up a dude and chucks him at other dudes, and you're like, there's something about this that I find so fucking fascinating. You're like, excuse me, hotness? What are you doing? Kuga being able to kick ass? Yes. Tojo kicking ass, Tomonari kicking ass. Yoichi I want to see fighting, though. Like, we have not seen him kicking ass. I think he did come to help us in Tojo's route or whatever, but, like, you know, we didn't get quite like that. Like, you know what I mean? But, like, Yoichi and Kinji are, like, the pretty boys. And just seeing them, like, roughing up people is kind of funny. I don't know what it is. You're like, huh? I mean, I know you're gonna, and I know you're capable, and I know you do, but seeing you do it is still like a, huh, okay. Like I don't expect it when I do. It's just baffling, and I love it. The other form folk he crashed into all toppled onto the ground, writhing in pain. And just look at how goddamn beautiful he looks looking over his shoulder like, I'll do that to anybody else. I love him so much. God, I love this game. I love these boys. It's so much fun. Easy now, Kinji. The plan was to hurt as few form folk as possible. Were you listening? Of course I was. That's why I'm doing this. I see. I mean, to be fair, he is hurting them, but chucking them and like, ow, they're in a little pile in a little bit of pain is better than them being able to run at you and slicing them up or accidentally killing them. So technically, he's hurting them to avoid hurting them more. I mean, I can't really fault his logic. I see where he's going. I could tell because I'd also fought in a battle where I fought to keep form folk at bay. With punches and martial arts moves, you were less likely to slice into the form folk's original objects by mistake, making it safer than fighting with a sword. And also, again, taking one and bowling with it and knocking all the other ones over and playing form folk bowling is probably a good way to knock out a bunch of them at once, and then they'll stay down, hopefully. Besides, they were probably all keeping the objects they came from in a place where they couldn't easily be broken, hopefully. I guess that means the battle's begun. That one person who's like a really delicate porcelain vase. That's Kyoshiro, though. We don't know. You know what I mean? And they just got it like a little tiny delicate porcelain teacup in their pocket, and they just get it crushed, and they're like, dead now. For some reason, it hadn't really sunk in, or rather, it just all happened so fast. Yoichi, my fellow Castletown team member, was also pleasantly surprised by this, since he hadn't fought alongside the other team members much either. The other teams much either, sorry. That works, Kinji. Just throwing them should do the trick. But won't they get right back up unless you knock them out? How long can you keep this up? Wow. Kotaro and Yoichi were also neutralizing form folk at an astonishing speed, and they weren't even breaking a sweat. Objects fighting objects. You're gonna throw them, Kunataka. I can see that it's less work, but it's not my style. Tominari and Tojo, on the other hand, were fighting using their still-sheathed swords. I was wrestling form folk to the ground so I could be of some use to everyone else, too. You know, I just grab them and choke them out. So, but then, like, once they pass out, just stop so they continue breathing. Don't actually choke them to death. This is totally different from when I was keeping the form folk at bay on my own. As predicted, the number of form folk under Hanzo's control seemed to have increased exponentially since the last time we'd fought him. Despite their large numbers, this was mere child's play for the Oniwabon, who were highly skilled in both battle and slaying Blightfall. Kuga was right. Well, now he can fight Hanzo without having to worry about the form folk. We're in Chapter 5. We only have 7 chapters. I mean, you think this is really going to be where we take down Hanzo? I was also positive the battle would turn out largely the way Kuga predicted it would. If Hanzo actually had the strength to take Kuga head-on and win, he wouldn't have gone through all the effort of brainwashing form folk into being on his side. I don't know. I'm very concerned. Because it's like, I mean, okay, unless, like, Chapter 5 ends and then Chapter 6 we're still in the battle, sure, but then it's like, because, like, Chapter 7 will be, like, maybe after... I don't really remember how Tojo's went, but... You know, I'm just concerned that we're doing a battle with Hanzo right now. You know, and we got 2 more chapters to go. Unless it's like we take down Hanzo the way we did with what's-his-face. I can never remember his fucking name. And then, like, then we still have to figure out what was possessing him or taking control of him or something, you know? Anyway. But why is Kuga nowhere to be found? Don't get any closer, scumbag! Oh, look, Kyoshiro ready to fight is adorable, okay? Because he doesn't look like, yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass. He does not have a face on that's like, yeah, it's my fighting face. He has a, like, is this a good pose? Is this right? Like, you know what I mean? His face is so nonchalant right now, and it's so fucking funny. Because he's a robot, and I love him. When I looked in the direction of Hanzo's voice, I saw Kyoshiro with the sword at the ready, and Hanzo squaring off against him. If this were modern times, Kyoshiro would have been formed off of like an actual like child's robot toy. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Hanzo was glaring angrily, sword pointed at Kyoshiro, but there was no way Hanzo's attack would reach with the distance between them. He can't be... Disgusting. You act like good people, but in the end all you're doing is helping a murderer. Have you no pride as a samurai? Die! Die! Trash like you should all die! Guys, get ready! Hanzo's about to attack! I shouted just as Hanzo swung his sword. The second Hanzo's Kamaitachi air blade landed, the Oniwaban reacted with surprising swiftness. Some had their swords at the ready, like Kyoshiro, and cut through the air, while others dodged by the skin of their teeth. But the form folk Hanzo had rounded up weren't able to. Injured by Hanzo's haphazardly launched blades, many of the form folk collapsed to the ground. As long as their objects weren't destroyed, they'll be fine. Although it seems weird because if it lobbed and went right through you and cut you in half, how the fuck are you doing that? You're like, hold on. Somebody, can you put my pieces together? What's he trying to do? He brought these form folk here himself only to kill them? He uses them as shields to deflect attacks, but views them as mere objects standing in his way the rest of the time. He's an easy fellow to understand, that one. Huh! Hypocrites who talk as if you know everything. I view all who support me as dear friends, as people I owe my life to. And yet you just killed them. But even the most heartwarming friendship is fleeting in the face of pain and fear, so I'll be getting rid of them right this second. Even more menacingly, there was a spike in the number of black threads covering his body and also spilling onto the ground. At the same time, the form folk who'd fallen to the ground groaned eerily as they got back up and surrounded us. He has the power to control all these form folk at once. Plus, he can easily use the same whirlwind attack he couldn't control earlier. Even though it was the middle of the day right now, he didn't seem to be any weaker for it. Hanzo had clearly grown as a Blightfall. Then, more form folk holding torches appeared from somewhere else inside the house. Why do they have torches? You're not planning to set fire to this building, are you? Bingo! And not a moment too soon to burn the whole thing down, too. My buddies might be reduced to ashes in the process, but they'll take you down with them. What? You'd really make the people you owe your life to do that? Heh, there are plenty more form folk who are willing to help me. Anyone else besides you guys willing to help out getting Goemon Akahori here? Didn't think so. They're like, well, fuck, he's got us there. The Oniwaban didn't respond to Hanzo's scornful remarks. Instead, they simply stood there as the form folk backed them into a corner. Something felt a tiny bit off about the entire situation. I would have been completely hopeful if I were here all by myself. I would have been completely hopeless, sorry. I was like, hopeful? If I were here all by myself. Then I remembered how strong they were and their impressive ability to respond to what was happening quickly. Something I'd seen for myself just moments ago. Oh, don't tell me. Are they? The moment this possibility crossed my mind, I looked over at Hanzo. Get him, Genjiro. A familiar shadow jumped down from the ceiling, knocking the sword in Hanzo's grip to the floor in one blow. Damn you! Kuga pinned Hanzo in the blink of an eye. He grabbed Hanzo's throat with his left hand and held his wakizashi into the wooden tag in Hanzo's neck with his right. Hanzo Ishii, I will hereby exterminate you! I don't know what object you came from, but if I cut your wooden tag, you won't be able to have a human form until the next time you're given a name. Cut it. Don't just say it, do it. The tone of Kuga's voice was so uncharacteristically cold, it took not just Hanzo's breath away, but mine too. I mean, I know that they told us that so that we would remember, you know what I mean? Because I know that they said, like, you write their name onto a wooden tag and whatever, but I don't know if I remembered that if they lose their or damage their wooden tag, that they will not become alive again until you give them a new name. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I knew that, so, or if I remembered. They probably told us, but so, like, that was for us, but still, I knew it. Kuga disappeared, and the Oniwaban acted like they were at a disadvantage because they were planning a surprise attack. Well, I probably should have realized that when Kuga went off on his own. Although I trusted him, I'd been a bit worried something had happened to him. Guys, hurry up and help me! All it takes is a flick of his wrist, so he's got it there. There is no snap, done. Hanzo was trying to make them come to his rescue. The form folk who surrounded us obediently tried to make for Kuga all at once, but the Oniwaban didn't let them. And again, I know it's like we got to do this scene over here, and then we got to do this scene, but right now, flick of his wrist, Hanzo's gone. So there is no way he should escape because you've got your wakizashi right there. Like, it's not like you're like, hold on, give me a minute. I'm trying to saw through this with tiny little pinking shears. Like, hold on. It's a thick rope. It's a thick rope on your tag, and I'm trying to cut through it with the tiniest fucking little scissors. You know what I mean? Snap, flick of the wrist, and it's done. I pitched in what little I could to keep the form folk at bay, all while watching Hanzo and Kuga's conversation unfold. Before I do, I'll say this again. I'm a completely different person from the Gengoemon Akahora you seek revenge on. I know you said I resembled the description of the man who killed your family, but wouldn't it be a shame to revert into an object because you mistook your foe? You're so consumed with your desire for revenge that you're no longer a normal form folk. However, there's still... Don't try to reason with him. Tadamine Asama? Tadamine Asama? Anyway, that's what Hanzo's saying. It's a name. Tadamine Asama! Huh? I heard him loud and clear. Was it because Hanzo sounded as proud as a little kid flaunting an achievement for some reason? Or because I'd heard that name once before? I was wondering when I read that, I was like, it does sound familiar. Shit. Oh. Okay, this is what I said. When it was like Hanzo's like, I know you're the guy that killed my family. I was like, do you think it's something on Kuga that he recognizes? He recognizes the sword that was Kuga. Oh my god. He's like, that's what it is. Because the wakizashi is the short sword, right? I can tell just by looking at your face. You stole that short sword from my father, didn't you? Oh my god. So because obviously Hanzo doesn't know that Kuga is a vessel. He might not even know what a vessel is. You know what I mean? Nobody might. But like, so the person... But so do you think, because right, the person, okay, so like the owner of like the object that form folk and vessels they're the ones that pour all the love and everything that makes the object become sentient and then turns into a person, basically, right? So you think it would have to have been Hanzo's father that basically, so like, Kuga, this is your brother! Our sassy child is your little brother! Oh, that's so cute! And so fucked up! Family drama. You didn't know you were getting family drama in this. I didn't know. You probably did if you played it, but, or did you think about that? Were you like, family drama? Because this is family drama. Because it wouldn't have been Gengoemon who, like, poured the love and affection into the sword that he stole off somebody that he killed that would have brought Kuga to life. It would have been the man who owned it, or maybe crafted it, which could be Hanzo's father. Aww! This is so fucked up! Good for them! Good for them making it like, tugging at your heartstrings. You're like, the drama! I love it. Oh my god. Tanamine Asama was the name my father used as a craftsman. Oh, okay, so maybe we knew. Okay. Maybe that's where it came from, why we knew that. That sword's one of 2 heirlooms in the world he crafted himself. I would never mistake it. Okay, because that's what I said initially. I was like, it's not that we look like a guy, it's the fact that he recognizes something on us. And I don't know if I said it. I don't know if if I thought it at the time. I know I'm thinking it now, obviously, that it was like it's the object that is Kuga he recognizes or whatever. And I didn't think it was something he stole. It was going to be, I recognize that XYZ, whatever, like I recognize your shirt. And it's because that's the object Kuga came from, but the object he came from was something brought to life by the murderer. But no, he's an object. Okay, but it's still similar to what I thought. It's just the man that was murdered is the one who poured all the love and affection into the object. So that's your dad. So somebody else killed your dad, and Hanzo's like your brother. Because, like, if you think about it, like, obviously Hanzo came to life by something that as well, so. I finally caught you red-handed, Genko Manakahori. I haven't mixed you up with somebody else. Enough with this nonsense. Admit to your sins. Maybe this is the time you tell him that, like, no, you're wrong. I am this. The vitriol in Hanzo's shouting was almost tangible. I like this, because we have to free him from the Blightfall, and then Genjiro can have a conversation with him and be like, no, I'm like you, but different. Like, vessels are like form folk. I came from this. Like, I didn't kill your father. He's mine, too. We're brothers. Oh, don't kill Hanzo now. I need you to stop him, but don't kill him. He's your brother. Oh, I need to have the family reunion. Stop it. I didn't think we were getting that plot. I love this so much. There were more black threads than ever. If Kuga hadn't been a vessel, just touching Hanzo in his current state would have been enough to contaminate his heart. I can't believe the sword Kuga originated from was made by Hanzo's dad. In other words, if what Hanzo said was true, that meant Kuga's owner and the creator was the very same... Kuga's owner and creator was the very same Gengoemon Akahori who Hanzo sought revenge on. I don't know about that, though. Kuga's owner, yes, but I don't know... Because it doesn't seem like it would have been enough time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I just don't know how much effort you have to put in, because it seems like form folk are not just something that you're like, I want that to come to light. Like, it's a lot of love and affection, and like, we created Mimi, right? So obviously it's not something that takes hundreds of years or anything. Like, but I don't know. I don't know. So I'm wondering, is Akahori the one who actually created Kuga? Or would it have been, you know, Hanzo's father with the... You know what I mean? Because it's the emotion and it's all of that behind to turn an object into a form folk, or in this case, a vessel. So, like, maybe it's different. I don't know. Still, he's still kind of your brother because you were from a sword that was crafted by his dad. So technically, you know what else. You've got it all wrong. At that moment, Kuga was sent flying by something that shot out from Hanzo's body. Stop it, he's your brother! Did you think I'd be completely defenseless without a sword? Hanzo quickly got back up and picked up the sword Kuga had knocked out of his hands. Ah! Then he slashed at Kuga, who still hadn't gotten back onto his feet, using a huge, sharp sword with air blades wrapped around it. Genjiro! Yeah! Kyoshiro snatched a dagger from one of the form folk and threw it, which plunged deep into Hanzo's back. When Hanzo flinched, Kuga took the opportunity to tumble off the platform. How cheeky are you? Catch, Gengoemon! At Hanzo's command, the form folk rushed at Kuga like they were now a singular being. Uh-oh. We'd managed to hold the form folk back until then because they'd been keeping their distance from Kuga. But some of them were already swarming on Kuga. He was also standing close to Hanzo, meaning he'd be done for if this kept up. Spacey, we could use your help. Huh? Before I had time to turn around, I heard a huge explosion and my field of vision went completely white in no time at all. You might want to tell me, what you're doing? The mighty form folk stopped dead in their tracks when this happened. Tojo must have thrown a smoke bomb. Oh, got it. The form folk already had no will of their own. Since they weren't acting on their own like true friends of Hanzo's, they couldn't do anything once they lost sight of Kuga, the person they'd been ordered to catch. Kuga won't be in the same place he was earlier. What about Hanzo? I see him. Hanzo must have realized that saying anything would give away his location because he was silent. But just like before, I could tell where he was headed despite him keeping silent. Why? Because I could see Hanzo's tracks in the form of threads. He's in front of the hanging scroll in the alcove at the center of the platform! Hanzo understood what was going on the second I shouted and quickly took off in an attempt to change his location. But it was far too late. Kuga had already apprehended Hanzo. Try as he might to escape, Kuga would be able to tell from the airflow or any noise he made. There was no way he'd lose Hanzo now. But don't you also... Okay, you don't have to snap his tag. You could destroy the mask. He won't be a Blightfall anymore. You know what I mean? And then we could cleanse him. And then you talk to him and be like, I am the sword? Sorry. I couldn't do that deep enough, I'm sorry. Kuga's fleet-footedness and sharp slash cut through the smoke, hanging over everything. Ah! In my slightly less limited field of vision, I could see Hanzo where the black threads led. He was on his knees, clutching the wooden tag at his chest. His wooden tag had split in two. Kuga had a hard glint in his eyes. He waited for the moment Hanzo's physical body began to fade away, still holding the sword he thrust. Damn it. I thought I'd be able to make it through in this body. Oh no, that was Hanzo. Damn it, I thought I'd be able to make it through in this body. What? Were my eyes playing tricks on me? Hanzo stood up straight, or more precisely, floated in the air, and his body was now see-through. I read that as because I was thinking, I thought maybe he didn't cut through the tag all the way, and he was like, I thought I'd be able to do it. What might that be? His spirit. No, I've never heard of form folk having spirits before. I think that's what I said. Do you think Hanzo wasn't like, maybe whoever was possessing a form folk? The Blightfall was possessing a form folk, so Hanzo maybe isn't the form folk. Or Hanzo is the form folk and there's another person. There's two different people. The form folk body that was being used and the person turned Blightfall that's possessing them. Because, like, it was weird. Because I mean, it's not weird for the person seeking revenge to be like, you killed my father. Prepare to die. You know what I mean? Inigo Montoya over here, right, possessed the body of a form folk he's a Blightfall. Is it making sense? I know what I'm thinking in my head, but it's really hard to be like, there's a person in a Blightfall and a form folk and Hanzo. But they're like two different beings. There is the person whose father was murdered, who's seeking revenge, who probably turned into a Blightfall, and somehow they are able to possess form folk. Because we've seen that. We've seen Hanzo doing that, right? So this person whose dad died, right, is a Blightfall. They possessed a form folk that we know of as Hanzo. So is Hanzo the name of the kid whose father was murdered, or is Hanzo the name of the actual form folk that they possessed? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But you know what I mean? So like they said this body. So the body of the form folk isn't the real person. Now it seemed like it could have been because like the form folk, you know, Mimi's our friend and our family member, but in essence, we created her. She's kind of our daughter, if you think about it. So the form folk that is Hanzo, we'll use Hanzo as the name of the form folk, right? Hanzo could have thought of the person that created him as his dad, so that's not weird for him to be like, you killed my dad, okay? But if now all of a sudden they're splitting and you're like, oh, it was a human turned Blightfall possessing this form folk's body, I'm assuming Hanzo is probably the name of the actual child, because otherwise it'd be too confusing, and we're going to find out this form folk body when they wake up. They're going to be like, this was Ted. Shit. And we just killed Ted. You know what I mean? And he had nothing to do with it. He was just possessed like all the other form folk. you know? Does that make sense? It makes sense in my head, and I don't know if me saying it made sense at all, but. So I'm not the only one seeing this? That alone shocked me speechless. Wait, aren't you. When I saw who Kuga helped up, it made even less sense. Instead of Hanzo, it's Mitsu? Okay, so Hanzo. Right. That makes sense. Wait. Okay, so Hanzo, the visual that we saw, the person, was a human being that turned into a Blightfall after their father died. The power that they have is to possess form folk. Because remember when the tracks disappeared and we were like, oh, that's a form folk from this bar or whatever. And we're like, wait a minute, is Hanzo possessing form folk? The answer was yes. But Hanzo was never real. He is just a Blightfall, and every time we fought him, it's a random form folk body that he's in. But we think we see Hanzo, but the body is not Hanzo. That makes sense. Okay, all right. Kuga had definitely defeated Hanzo by cutting his wooden tag in two, and yet it was Mitsu who had gone missing, in Kuga's arms, limp and with her eyes shut. Did you just kill Mitsu? Maybe you're the one who needs to worry about mixing people up, Gengoemon Akahori. I have godly powers now. I've already cast my form folk body aside. I couldn't have you killing me before I realized my wish. Okay, so Hanzo was really a form folk still. Okay, I mean, which then it'll make us a little more sense where he was a form folk that. Was it Tadamine? Is that their name? What was that their name? Whatever. Okay, this man created this form folk. Hanzo thinks of him as a dad. Hanzo's a form folk. Thinks of him as a dad. Dad gets murdered by Gengoemon Akahori. Hanzo ends up turning into a Blightfall that can possess other form folk. Which would make more sense than he's a human turned Blightfall that can possess form folk. If he's a form folk turned Blightfall, you know what I mean? Makes more sense. But like, okay. But yeah. All right. They set these pieces up. I see what's happening here. Godly powers? What on earth are you talking about? What, you don't believe me? Even after seeing this? I've been getting help not just from form folk, but also the gods to exact revenge on you. The only thing is that my new powers are so potent, it's hard to find a container to make proper use of them. But that's a very minor nitpick. Mitsu probably because she'd already been kind of sort of possessed by Blightfall, so it was easier to possess her for a longer period of time. As the smoke around us lessened, Hanzo's silhouette also grew fainter and hazier. Eventually, even the voice we'd heard so clearly started sounding further and further away. I will kill you, that's for certain. I'll do anything to accomplish that. And no one can stop me. Ooh! All right. Is this chapter 6? Chapter 6! I'm not 100% sure where we are time-wise, but I do not have any more time. I think we're roughly at an hour, but I'm recording this over lunch. I left a little bit late, but then we had issues, so like whatever. But anyway, we will continue more next time. So I will see you next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.